Hey peeps, come on in real quick. Let's chat. This is going to be real quick, but I kind of need your help here. Let me just organize my screen real quick. All right, we'll give people a second to come in real quick. I have a question, and I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to throw this question at you because we're a community. It's kind of what we do. And even though I kind of have to make the final call, I at least want to hear what people have to say. So some of you will get a chance to kind of respond here. Some of you will kind of chew on it maybe, and then later today you can put something in the comments. And of course, I'm going to throw this out to everybody across all of YouTube and see what people have to say in the comments, okay? Because I do kind of I need some more data. I need some more help here. So here's what we're looking at. And I hate that this is still a thing, that it's not resolved, but it is. So I kind of need to know what your thoughts are. Tomorrow is April 1st. Now, it does not help my case that it is April Fool's Day in half the world, and then tomorrow it will be April Fool's Day. So please understand, this is not an April Fool's prank. I'm telling you that now, okay? April 1st is essentially when we do the shift on Patreon. Okay, we already talked about like all the numbers and everything, all the blah, 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 all that stuff. The initial plan was this. I make everything on Patreon, 250 videos, everything, live streams, reactions, the whole thing. I make all of that $1 for everybody, okay? Because we have 1,700 people that are accessing our 24 days of content. 24 days, full days. Okay, you with me? 1,700 people. That makes our bandwidth cap scream through the roof. I'm not going to go through it all again. You know what that means. I make everything $1. And then as a bonus, if you want to be in the BTS giveaways, that's an extra $1. If you want to be in all the giveaways, that's an extra $1. That was the plan. Here's the problem with that I'm just now realizing as I'm starting to configure this on Patreon. Patreon is not set up for this. Here's what this means. If I, like right now, all 250 videos are free. Okay, they're free. That's fine. That's the way that I've set it up. But here's what that means for me. I have to go through into each individual video of the 250. I have to first create a tier of like all access, $1. Great. I select each video, all access, save. I go back out to the homepage. I click through each video. All access, done. Now, this isn't a big deal. It's tedious. It's not a problem. It's part of the process. I get it. Then I have to go through and say, okay, the next tier is going to be $2 for the BTS giveaways. Click through each of the videos. I do that. And I do that for the same thing with all giveaways. Now, although this is an insane amount of work to set up a $1 tier, a $2 tier, a $3 tier, fine. I'm not afraid of the work. But here's the problem. If I do that for all of the videos that we have, okay, it's just time on me, not a huge thing. It then kicks everybody out of all the tiers, and you all have to re-register for the tier that you want. $1, $2, $3. Not a big deal still. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's not the end of the world. But here's the problem. If I set up these 3 tiers of all access, BTS giveaways, and all giveaways, and everybody settles into their tier, and on May 1st, we discover we're still over the cap, we need less people accessing all of the replays, I have to then go all the way back through this make a $2 tier, a $3 tier, and a $4 tier. And then go through the entire process again, which again, for me, the work, I'm not afraid of it. I'll do it. It's fine. But then everybody else has to then re-register for every single tier every time we make a change. That's crazy. I don't know what to do. So I'm extending this to you to hear what you have to say. Now, I don't want you necessarily to like you might not have an answer now, and that's fine. But I at least wanted to extend this and tell you, like, look, I'm not just going to like go behind everybody's back and make the final call and say, you know what, I'm just going to make it $4 across the board. Deal with it. No, I could do that, but I don't like you. I want you to know what's going on, right? We've talked about this. I hate the fact that we still have to talk about it, but I want you to know where I'm coming from. And Monica, no, there's no way to up the limit either. Like, even if I pay more money per month, the cap never breaks 2 terabytes unless Vimeo identifies you as a custom case. They throw an invoice at you for what they expect you to need, and that's where we've seen other reactors get bills for like $7,000. That's crazy, right? So I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do with this. Here's the one saving grace that I think we have. I'm not locking anything behind a paywall because I only want certain people to have access to X, Y, and Z. It's really just a matter of we're using too much bandwidth, and the storage site, we're kind of abusing them in a way. The saving grace that we have is that every single thing we do is free by default, right? Not every time zone benefits necessarily. I try to be as inclusive as I can, starting on 9 a.m. sometimes, or noon, or, whatever, 6 p.m. So everything is free. Whether or not you can make it is a different story, but at least the opportunity is there for everybody to experience everything, even if the time doesn't work out. You know what I mean? So that's part of the saving grace. But it's getting trickier by the minute, and I'm really kind of stuck. So I want to hear from you guys and hear what you have to say. So, yeah, man, I'm kind of struggling here. I don't know what to do. And here's another piece I will throw at you. There's always the option of fewer live streams too. Now it sounds kind of like a threat when I say that. It's not meant to, but if I put this at X for everybody, all access to everything, and we're still above the cap, the other option is like, I just do fewer live streams, which means fewer replays, which means fewer people watching the replays, right? So there's a bunch of, plates up in the air, and I'm just trying to figure out how to balance them. Cindy, I have looked into other reactors and what they do, and there's kind of 2 avenues people go. If people go the free route like I have, generally they're okay because they don't have 24 days of content. Our live streams go anywhere from 1 to 3 hours to 5 hours to 10 hours to 24 hours. We have so much content that it's a problem, right? And us being free is just, it's not feasible to allow people to have replays. So, it's, and then the other avenue is either you're free because you're smaller, you don't have as much content and you can do that, or you go the route which other people go, which is they start off at, usually it's like $5, and then there's $7, $8, or $10, whatever it is, but it's considerably more money. That's other options, John Race has tiers that limit what you can watch per tier. I have also looked into the website to store your longer live streams, and that is even more expensive. The storage and bandwidth is still an issue, and it's actually more expensive when you create custom solutions like that. And do the lives have to be available after? They don't, but most people, because of time zones, they need them to be. And that's why we've done it. Cookie says, well, what about tiers for groups for those who only want BTS content versus like Stray Kids and stuff like that? Cookie, it's not a bad idea, but the difference is that we don't, for us to take the live streams that we do and then like we do so few exclusive live streams to just BTS or just Stray Kids or just ATs. So for us to have to cut them down individually and then categorize them is a lot. Yeah. Do I have a potential solution in mind that you want us to weigh on? I don't necessarily. I was kind of hoping that people would just kind of say, okay, well, here's where you are. Let's, maybe there's an idea that somebody has they can throw out there. And that's kind of what people are doing. And I appreciate that. There's no bad answer in brainstorming. Limiting the time the lives stay up. That's interesting. Interesting. That might be something, Thelma. But then maybe not just the amount of time it stays up, but the amount of time that it stays active for certain tiers, maybe. That might be something. I might have to kind of think about that. Yeah, it is very tough, Tom. It is very tough. And that's why I'm trying to extend this to the community to see if somebody can come up with something else. I mean, I will be honest with you. There was a part of me when I realized how complicated this was going to be. And the fact that people are going to get irritated, getting kicked out of their tiers and then getting pushed. Like, then they have to select a new tier every single. Come on, man. Nobody wants to do that. Not to mention, like, do me or some of the team want to necessarily have to sit here for 10, 15, 20 hours? Click, click, click. Every month? Like, that's nuts, man. Like, we got full-time jobs and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, really tricky. So part of me was like, you know what, this is nuts. Like, I think I might just have to take the hit and say, here's where I think it's going to land, and I'm just going to put it at that. Part of me said that. But for me to do that kind of behind your back didn't feel right, especially when I've talked so many times about, I'm going to make it $1, and then we'll see where it sits. And if we have to go to $2 the next month, that's what we'll do. Well, that's a great idea, but the system isn't set up for that, apparently. I didn't know this, but now that I see it, it's rough, man. Yeah. Tracy, what do you mean when you say it's only 2 or 3 times, right? Do you mean like you have to kind of pick which tier you want 2 or 3 times? I mean, it's not the end of the world, but then that still equates to me and potentially other people having to go through that tedium of like 250 videos times 3 every month, right? So yeah. Does the viewing drop off after, say, a month? Svava, I'm not sure because analytics, man, I would have to really dig into the analytics. But we have so many people coming in, really through the live streams, because that's all we do. We have so many people coming in through the live streams. They see how it works. They love it, which is great. But then they say, oh, well, I want to see what else has happened. I want to see what else has been done. So then they go back through. So it's like for every 10, 15, maybe 50 people that we get through the live streams that kind of jump on board and join the community, a portion of them will then go back through and then start watching the live streams to see what else has been done. And one of the things that I love about it is that people view the live streams as like, you know, episodes of Friends that they can watch all the time, and it feels like they're not alone. Like, well, that's one of the things that makes me happiest. I don't want to take that away from as many people as possible, you know? Yeah, and Nixie, I can't necessarily do just like a BTS tier because there's so much BTS woven through all of the live streams that we've done, right? Yeah, and I know a lot of you won't have a solution, and I know, but like I said, at the very least, I wanted to kind of tell you where I was at and what this looks like, and it's turning into be really, really complicated. And I know the easy answer would be I just do live streams, we cut them into YouTube videos, and that's it. That's the easy answer. I don't put anything up for replays. But then the problem is the people that would want the replays and wouldn't mind paying for the replays, nobody gets anything, right? So, yeah, I'm just kind of stuck. Oh, I definitely don't want to do a GoFundMe, Justice. I mean, it's not a bad idea, but it's still, that doesn't fix our problem because even if I could raise a bunch of money in a GoFundMe, it still equates to the storage site saying, hey, you're using too much bandwidth every single month, right? And I certainly wouldn't ask the community to be like, hey, we got a $7,000 bill for April's videos. And then people just, you know, and then we do that every month. Like that would hurt. How many patrons can you have? You can limit the amount each month. And I think I wasn't aware that was something. That might be something. I'll have to dig into that. Yeah. It's very overcrowded, Casey, and that's kind of, I guess, comes with the territory of everything being free. You know, we've got 1,700 people, and there's 24 days of content, 564 hours, I think it is, and it's beginning to topple, is where we're at. Tracy says, you never saw anything from other reactors because of the limits. You're saying like those tiers were full and you couldn't get in? Yeah, and there really is no avoiding it. Like the truth is, and I didn't know this when I first started, but like this stuff costs money. And it's not for like a super duper camera or like a super chair that's great and comfortable, it makes my butt look good. It's really like we are storing a month of videos that people all across the world are accessing, and that costs money. Like that's where we are. And it's only getting bigger. Absolutely. It's getting bigger, and yeah. Trying to find the balance, you know. Is it possible to clip live streams into like 2 parts for free access and then say, want to see what happens? Next tier gets you the rest. Rosalie, it's not a bad idea. I feel like since all of our videos are from live streams, the free access kind of already exists on YouTube. So that would be the free access, and then the paid tiers, which is kind of what we're trying to figure out now, would be on Patreon. So I think the formula that you're suggesting already works, or it already exists. Some streamers have a separate channel on YouTube for past live streams. Mia, that doesn't work for us either because our stuff gets blocked and copyrighted, and yeah, anything that can live on YouTube without being blocked lives there now. Okay, Svava, that's a really good point. My knee-jerk reaction is that the lowest tier should be $2.50, but that's a really arbitrary number that might not balance load against the demand. And that's absolutely true. We don't know what number that's going to be, right? So the notion of balance that we've talked about, it, like, I feel like we're going to have to take a shot in the dark and see how it goes, you know? Patreon, you can post videos for people to watch for free. No, yes, you can, and that's what we've done, and that's why we're in the position that we're in. And honestly, like, the truth is, some reactors are able to do this, and they have a lot of content, but they're paying out of pocket for that, right? Like, I can't necessarily swing that. Like, that's the truth. You have a solution. You can put the replays in YouTube and have them as listed videos, and you can have them listed. No, see, that doesn't work either, because like I said, because of our live streams being kind of all over the place and we are reacting to copyrighted content, they get blocked. Like, they get blocked in a way that means if we put them on YouTube, they immediately close them off and private them, and nobody's allowed to watch them because it's copyright issue. Yeah, Tracy, that's the best way to say it. It's free for everybody. It's free for you guys, but it's not free for the bandwidth storage site. That's true. Why don't you let the MVs for free and post like Run BTS for $5, just an example. So all of the MVs are free. They are on YouTube, every single one of them. The only thing that really causes a problem for us are the live stream replays. We take every live stream that we do, we put it onto Patreon and say, here you go. If you couldn't make the live stream, now you can watch it. That's really what it does. But every single thing that we do, thanks to the team, gets cut and then gets put on YouTube. So you can literally watch every single thing that we've done without issue for free. But if you want the replay of the live stream, which was free to attend, by the way, you have to go to Patreon. Yeah. A tier for live streams, a tier for reactions, and a tier for everything else. And that's pretty much what we have. We only have live streams. I mean, that's kind of the case. It's really just a matter of the live streams. Don't post on YouTube anymore, just Patreon. No, I completely disagree with that. I want people to have stuff for free. But the issue is the replays. So what about doing themed lives like BTS and Stray Kids or whatever groups? That would work in the future, but with us having a month of content right now, it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us with our current predicament. In hindsight, it would work. It would make it easier. Have you considered Google Drive for storage? I have, and that is price-wise, it's not bad, but it becomes super inconvenient, and then it involves basically people downloading all of the reactions that they want. You would have to download each one individually, and then watch it. It's really strange. Having Patreon cost money for the creator? No, it doesn't. But storing the videos that show on Patreon, that costs money. And a banana says, my bank doesn't allow monthly subscriptions. I tried to subscribe to Patreon. And I'm aware that that is the case. Like, no solution we find is going to work for everybody. That is the unfortunate truth. And whether that is because of financial reasons or because of international reasons, some countries can't access Patreon. Some countries can't access Vimeo. So we're trying to find the right balance, right? So with that being said, it's like, remember though, even though you might not be able to either afford the live stream replays, you can still watch all the live streams for free. You just have to show up for them. What did Alpaca say? I suggest start at $1 more than you think we need. Whatever you decide to do, I'm ready to register and re-register and re-register. That's interesting. Suggest starting at $1 more than I think we need. That's interesting. Oh, man. Are there other video storage sites? Perhaps use several free sites for different content, like show reactions, album listens on one platform, live streams on another. So there are other sites available. They all have similar issues. The reason well, first of all, somebody suggested on Twitter this little mini list of possible suggestions. One of them was like a Chinese site, which didn't give me the good feelings. And it was only accessible to Chinese residents in China, right? That doesn't work for us. One of them was a Russian site, which also had similar parameters, but I don't know how I feel about just suddenly loading our month of content that's extremely important to me on a Russian site that I've never heard anything about, right? And also, and maybe this is just the organized piece of me, the idea of spreading all of our content across multiple platforms feels not just arduous, but like kind of dangerous, when you know the easy answer is like we just have to set a limit somehow. Oh man. So yeah, you can see that it's a pretty big deal, and I really am trying to I wanted to extend the question. You can chew on a little bit. Alexia, you can keep the VODs on Twitch, but they mute all the music, and that doesn't do any of us any good. Cookie says, honestly, if I don't catch a live stream, I don't go back and watch the entire stream. I usually just watch your reactions that you cut and put on YouTube. That's it. Yeah, and that's what most people do, right? Can we do like rebroadcast of lives on Twitch so people can join Twitch and catch a rebroadcast of some streams? And you can block people to be able to view those lives at the Vimeo site. Maybe. So essentially that would be like if I have a live stream at 9 a.m., let's say I have an hour-long live stream at 9 a.m. on Twitch for 1 hour. And then let's say 12 hours later, I put that live stream up again on Twitch, but it's not live, it's a rebroadcast, I think is what you're saying. I mean, it's a bit of a shell game. Well, we got a lot of ideas floating around. Wow, Bianca, that's pretty bold. Charging $1 a month without having a limited access will be fine, but if I'm honest, your other tiers should start around $10. That's bold. What did Tad say? Tad, where are you? What would the cost be for you to set up your own server with expandable storage capacity? I don't have those with me. I did look into that, and it was I want to say it was comparable, but it was less reliable. And then I think if I remember right, the main one I was looking at, it kind of billed you based on bandwidth that you used the previous month. So it's like, it doesn't just say, hey, this is your monthly cost. Like there's setup cost, there's maintenance cost, all that gets wrapped in. And then it says, hey, in March, you used this much. This is your bill, right? So that made me kind of go, ooh, I don't know about that. Just suddenly getting a bill. Yeah, my head is absolutely spinning. Yeah, it's a lot. Oh, you meant to say $5, not $10. Okay. Yeah. You would use $1 just for the replay. I don't think that's enough, honestly. We have 1,700 people accessing the replays. 1,700. And it's not a money issue. It's not that it would be $1,700 if everybody logged on and that would be fine. There would still be too many people accessing the content. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to extend that your way. I'm going to kind of chew on this for the day. And at some point later, I'm going to go back through and I'll read everything that I missed in chat. And then also I'm going to put this out on YouTube and see maybe somebody has some ideas or something. But it really will come down to like, I'm just going to have to kind of make the best call. Like, I think that's what it's going to be. And it's not just a money thing. It's not just a money thing. It's not just a bandwidth thing. And it's also like a matter of time and effort and energy, right? So if something's going to take us 47 hours to build and then it doesn't work, and then we have to spend 47 hours rebuilding something, that is then going to snowball to you. And then everybody's going to like, it's just going to be a mess. So there's a lot of pieces on the table that I want to try to structure in a way that I think will work for the most people. It's not going to work for everybody. It's not. And that is unfortunate, but like we have to keep the community afloat. Yeah, it's got to be practical. It's got to be realistic. And at the very least, like I always do with this, the reason I bring this up and I extend it to you is so that you know there is full transparency, and wherever we land is, I can hope you know that it is in the best interest of the community and not just me being a space butthole, right? So, yeah. And remember though, and like KC just said, channel by channel. Yeah, what works for some channels does not work for other channels. So, but remember though, regardless of where we land, if you end up, you know, if the baseline ends up being a little more expensive than you can afford or that you're willing to pay, I understand that. Like, that's totally cool. But remember though, we still have all the live streams for free. Like it's cool. Like just make it to the live stream and then you're not missing out on anything, right? And I know that doesn't work for everybody, time zones, I got it. But you know, life is life, right? All right, folks. Well, I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate listening to me. And chew on it. Throw something in the comments when we post the video, and then we'll go and hope for the best. Okay? Love, love, love.